Welcome to Good Questions, Good Answer. Today we have another interesting question from our audience, and our Venerable Sander joining us again to help solve the riddle. Venerable Sander, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank
Alright.
you for having me in the program.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you back. And well, let's begin with our questions. Well, the thing is, many people at this time today, they're having living difficulty with their lives in the COVID lockdown. The economy is crashed. Sometimes it's quite difficult to find food or struggle to make a living on day by day. So maybe this can help clarify a little bit when people are struggle like this. What should we do to help us living together in peace and happiness at the time of COVID-19 like this?
I think this is a very interesting way of looking at the current situation.
Yeah,
We are all afraid to get infected with illness, with the disease, with the virus that is currently spreading.
that's true.
But we can also think of goodness as something contagious.
Yeah,
And if we are learning and practicing good qualities of mind and character, then other people can also be inspired by those.
I see. So you see, they are struggle and sometimes they need help, and maybe it's a good thing that we should help each other, so that way it can help them be at ease or at least relieve their suffering for a little bit. So what are the good things that we can practice to help each other like this?
Yeah, so there is one Buddhist text that I came across. It's a very simple little text, and in this, the Buddha, he says that there are four things that all the wise people in the world appreciate. In other words, all the sages and through the ages have appreciated these four things. And these four things are, first of all, the freedom from desire. Secondly, loving kindness. And the third one is right mindfulness. And the fourth one is right concentration.
Can you do clarify one by one?
So freedom from desire is actually a host of qualities, many good qualities that help us overcome excess of desires. So if we have too many desires or our desires are not helping us, we can learn to overcome our desires or find more happiness by developing things like contentment, generosity, self-sacrifice, and simplicity. These are all examples of things we can develop to overcome an excess of desires, or to overcome the problem when we are suffering from too many desires or desires that are helping us forward.
Yes.
So there's one text in which the Buddha says that contentment is the greatest wealth. And I think that's very much true, because if you are very satisfied with little, then it seems as though if you always desire more, you always feel incomplete.
Well, and all of this, it seems like it's leading to simplicity, because our life at this time is quite too difficult. Sometimes it's making us stressed. But if we make it simplicity, start by being content, we can start by generosity and self-sacrifice, leading to simplicity our life even more. I think I understand this concept.
But the current situation, it actually requires more than ever that we help each other out and that we are generous in helping other people. So as a Buddhist monk, for example, I cannot do much in terms of material help, but I can call people, inspire them, and be there for people. And I think that's also very needed. So there's always a way to help other people. But the main point here is also that when we give something or when we let go of something, we are also helping ourselves.
That's true. Well, what about the second one, the second quality that the Buddha mentioned, loving kindness? Can you clarify a little bit?
Yeah, this is, of course, where Buddhism is very known for, the emphasis on loving kindness and compassion. It is the wish to see ourselves and other people happy. That is very simple, but there's a basic principle that is mentioned in the text, and that is behind loving kindness, and that's the idea that just like you want to be happy,
Oh,
other people also want to be happy. Just
yes.
like you want to live and not die, other people also want to live and not die. There's a principle in there which basically says that we compare ourselves with others. And because of that empathy, we develop loving kindness. And that is actually very universal.
This kind of like if you want to be happy, you should treat other people like the way you treat yourself. It's similar to what I
Right,
also learned,
exactly.
putting yourself in other shoes too, right?
Exactly. And the interesting part is that there's actually there's a number of researchers that have discovered, researchers and authors as well, that have discovered that there's a rule that can be found in every world religion, which is the basic principle of you should treat other people the way you would like to be treated. And this can be found in Buddhism and it can be found in many other religions.
I
And it's
see.
therefore known as the Golden Rule. It's a sort of
Okay.
fundamental principle of ethics that is also behind loving kindness.
About this golden rule, can you name a few that can help us understand?
Yeah, so the famous phrase in the Bible, for example, says that you should, I do not know the exact phrasing in English language. I know it in Dutch, but I think if I recall correctly, it says something like, do toward others what you would like people to do to you, or something like that. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but that's about it. And this actually can be found in many other world religions. For example, Confucianism also has a similar word, similar saying that if we talk about the speech, for example, he says one word which sums up the basis of all good conduct, loving kindness. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. That is what Confucius says, in fact.
I
So,
see.
so this basic principle can be found in every world religion.
Does everyone have to have loving kindness with themselves and others in order to, be happy, not only by himself but other as well? Well, about having this loving kindness, why do people they have the nature that like this already that we want everyone to want to be happy and want other to be happy, but why don't they do so?
Yeah, now that's actually a very good question. This question is actually asked by the psychologist Daniel Goleman, who is known for his books on emotional intelligence, and he actually popularized that concept. He wrote books together with the Dalai Lama. He's a quite well-known psychologist. And Daniel Goleman actually, he asked the question in a TED Talk, if by nature people like to help each other out, then why don't we? And then he eventually concludes, based on some studies that he raises as examples, that actually we need mindfulness to be kind. So then I come to the third point, the third concept, which the Buddha mentions in this text, which is very fundamental quality that every wise person in the world appreciates, and that is that we all need mindfulness in our lives. So, and in the case of Daniel Goleman, he discovered that if people are not mindful of the current moment, the present moment that they're in, they don't have any awareness or little, then it's also very difficult to stop from your daily routine and actually look at another person suffering and really help them. So we can think of the current crisis also. There's many situations that we might help other people around us, but we have to stop first and really be mindful of the present moment to be able to do that. So there is actually, before we talk about social engagement and kindness and charity and all those things, there must be a fundamental quality to that. That is, we have to first have awareness, mindfulness. We have to be mindful of other people's suffering to be able to help them.
So we have to realize and observe other. If we are having realized developing our kindness by having our mindfulness, Is there anything else that need to have our feeling of being happy together and helping others?
And mindfulness these days is, of course, a bit of a fashion word. People very much appreciate the need for mindfulness in the present moment, in the present day and situation. But mindfulness in itself also needs training. And training mindfulness, training to become mindful, learning to become mindful takes time and effort. And it also requires your mind to be able to be still in one single place. Therefore, mindfulness goes hand in hand with another kind of practice, which is not exactly the same, meditation.
Okay.
These two need to go hand in hand.
So basically, we need to practice meditation to develop our mindfulness and develop our kindness. Because when we are practice of concentration, making our mind become still, the kindness and mindfulness will arise, and that allows us to realize about ourselves and others. Is it what I'm understanding, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And because of that, it's important that we recognize that meditation and mindfulness are not exactly the same. They're very similar, but not exactly the same. So when we talk about mindfulness in traditional Buddhism, then that is about a practice of being aware of the present moment. It's like the basic preparation of your mind for meditation. And when you meditate, you actually bring your mind in a deeper state where it's very clear and it can see things clearly as it really is. You could compare that with a screwdriver that you're holding against a screw in the wall. Then concentration or meditation is like you're turning the screwdriver. So there's two levels, in fact. So meditation is a bit more deeper than mindfulness. But it also helps us to be more mindful. If we often meditate, we spend time in stillness. As the slogan now goes, right? If you can't go outside, go inside. If you spend time in meditation, you immediately find, quite quickly, find that it affects the way we are mindful throughout the day. It will quickly carry over. You will notice that you become more mindful when you meditate. At the same time, mindfulness also helps us to concentrate better in meditation. So these two are related, but they're not exactly the same.
I see. So thank you very much for help clarify this matter. Well, the thing about that is everyone at this time, people are having difficult time living and also cannot going out. So the only way that we can help each other is we must be strong and also be patient. And then not only that, we need to develop ourselves loving kindness. And how to do that? Well, you see, you have to maintain your mindfulness and concentration so that way you can develop loving kindness that arises when the mind becomes still. So everyone, if you have time right now, maybe it is a good time to start learning and practice meditation. How do you practice? Well, you can join my program, Inner Peace Sunday or Inner Peace Wednesday, whenever it's convenient for you to join our meditation. However, is that all? No. I'd like to add one thing further. The thing is that, you see, while practice of developing these four, which are freedom from desire, loving kindness, mindfulness, and concentration, these are helping us develop our mind to further into practice of being good and being a good kindness person to help each other. So everyone at the time of need like this, helping each other is what everyone needs. And don't forget.
And it's contagious.
Yeah, it's contagious too. So when you start being yourself as an example, everyone see it become their inspiration. They can continue and follow you in your footstep. So everyone, next time, hopefully, I see you in the next question and also practice meditation together in our program. Thank you very much, Venerable Sander, for helping solving this matter. And we hope to see you again in our next question. Thank you. See you.
Goodbye.
you